Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the University of Chinese. We are going to continuing our summer special program, doing one single Chinese character a day. Normally, it's 4 characters or so to make an expression, a set expression. But this time, I'm just focusing on one single character to make it light and fun for you. I hope you enjoy it. So today, we're going to talk about. It seems like I got my frame too big. Okay, we're talking about the double, 双, double. If you see the contemporary Chinese, it looks like same thing repeated twice, even if the right one looks a little bit bigger than the left one, right? But essentially it's the same structure. And indeed, when we look at the traditional Chinese rendering, it's just 3-finger hand symbol stacked up twice. And when it's simplified, to write up, stack up, it's not as easy to write side by side. So left and right structure is more common than up and down structure. So that's 双 in its traditional. So just visually you can see, okay, it's 2 hands. And then my initial question was, is it both of my hands, left and right hand, like just doing this? And then eventually I realized, no, this is not both hands from me, because in other Chinese character creations, when I've been looking at tongue by now, if you're expressing 2 hands, your left and right hand, 3-finger hand symbol from the bottom of the screen, then it's going to be kind of a mirror image like this, because just like when you're playing video games, right? When you have a hand, you're reaching into the screen, it's kind of at the bottom left and right screen, depends on left or right hand, right? Or both hands showing. So apparently this is both from the right side, both right hand stacking up. So here I'm showing you something related to hand symbol. This one is called 寸. It's Chinese inch. Here you can see another hand symbol exactly like that, but there is one extra horizontal line up there because ancient practice of pulse reading. So for doctors to tell basically if you are sick in any way, Chinese medical practice back way when before the Communist Party. I guess even today, like some of the doctors still got such a skill of instead of using a machine to read you, they simply put finger, probably, I don't know exactly how, probably 2 fingers over here, 1 inch down exactly below your wrist, and then to read the pulse. And so that pulse reading able to tell basic information about your internal condition. So that's inch. And eventually, because there's 1 inch requirement, eventually that character means inch. And here I'm showing you hand symbol, because most frequently used as 3-finger hand symbol. We don't really need to draw all 5 fingers all the time, right? It's too much. 3 is enough to show, oh, this is a hand. But occasionally we do have 5-finger. 5-finger, 1 is drawn. It's kind of like visually just 5-finger, right? Almost look like a tree or leaf. But then this right tilted middle finger seems like to emphasize something happening to middle finger, but it's not like that. Until I meet the other character, that means hair, that looks almost the same as hand. Then I realized, okay, this extra stroke was added on to indicate, to differentiate the hand symbol from the hair symbol, because otherwise it look basically the same. I mean, as somebody else, like who can easily tell the difference between the two, just by the ratio of proportion, because they can be easily incorporated into other characters, and they become more horizontally expanded or vertically elongated. It's contextual based on how they are formed into other characters. So we cannot depend on the ratio at all. So we have to visually indicate something on the character itself. So somebody later on come up with this, if it's tilted toward the right on the middle finger, then that means hand, otherwise it's hair. And both of them have to have this marker on them. Because if you don't mark it, then people wonder, do you mean hand or hair, right? So simply by marking it, make it sure. that's that. Okay, so most of the time, this is a hand symbol versus this 3-finger hand symbol. That's what I want to show you here. Okay, then there's a 双 in English. Most commonly, it's translated as double. So when English, when we're talking about double, that means you kind of exact the same thing, but you 2x it, right? That's double. Is there such a thing called a double burger or something like that, or double bed or something like that, right? Exactly the same thing, but you twice it. And then twin in English, corresponding to 双 as well, because we do have like 一对双. We do change tonation sometimes to make it more fluent. So 一对双 means twins, and twofold, 双重双料. So it can be paired with other characters to mean it's double folded, and then forming a pair become a verb. Forming a pair become a verb. Okay, 双, and then simply means two. Or use it as a prefix. Yeah, I guess using as a prefix a lot of time is like a chemical terminologies of chemical stuff, right? As a by something. But I mean, actually, the first thing come to my mind about the by is either binocular, right? In English, here in English, it makes more obvious of binocular. But in Chinese, we actually translate it as 望远镜. It's the application of the binocular, which is to see, far seeing mirror. So through this mirror, your function is to go far seeing. And English have bicycle, right? Double wheeled. Chinese actually translated as auto moving wheel. 自行车. 车 is a vehicle. So auto moving vehicle. It doesn't mean auto car. Actually, it's translated as it's bicycle. Actually, it doesn't mean auto drive car as a technology of the current time. So maybe Chinese translation of auto drive car is 自动驾驶. That make it more obvious as autopilot. But if it says bicycle, it's translated as 自行车. So again, it wasn't translated as a 双. So I couldn't come up with like what in English terms exactly right now that's used as a prefix that we translate as 双. I guess also it depends on if that thing is commonly used. If it's commonly used, then people will simply verbalize it or frame it in a different way. Like in the binocular example, to frame it as the application, the use. So people who first time you came across this character or this terminology have no issue of figuring out what that is for. So I guess instead of emphasizing the structural or the way it's formed, we emphasize the use, the purpose of it. It probably made it easier. Okay, and it can be pair or couple. So a lot of times in Chinese do emphasize if it's a couple, then we use a 双 a lot because it is like one person, you cannot look at one person without looking at the other person. Both of them are present. So we do have a phrase like a 夫妻双双把家还, 双双 double-sized again. So 夫妻 means husband and wife, 双双, so double, 把家还, like going home together. A beautiful picture right there. And then double in Chinese simply means two hands and from two individual persons. And this they're related somehow, right? Otherwise they won't be counted together. So most of the time it's like a coupling, like this picture is showing you. Okay, cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie.